Hi, I'm Gannon with Universal Audio, and I'm really excited to introduce you to the next generation Apollos. So here we are in front of our three new Apollos. Here, this is the newest generation. For those of you that are familiar with Apollos, these were introduced in 2012, and here it is 2015 with our brand new versions of these. We have three new, completely new Apollos. There's the Apollo 8P. The P stands for preamps. There's 8 unison-enabled preamps in here on combo jacks. So these are the first. We've had a long request for the ability to record larger ensembles and more larger groups with more preamps. So this answers that. We have the Apollo 8, which is 4 mic preamps and 8 line inputs. This is the same I/O complement as the original Apollo. And the Apollo 16 Mark II, which is 16 analog inputs and analog outputs on D subs. All three of them boast new D to A and A to D designs that increase our dynamic range and reduce the total dynamic distortion or harmonic distortion. And they just sound great. The most important thing about Universal Audio is we really concentrate on sound quality. So when these were being designed, we did exhaustive listening tests, and the conversion and sound of these were chosen hands down above our competitors and even our own Apollos. So we've increased the specs and improved the overall analog performance of them. We've also done a number of things to the feature set with the Apollo. So the Apollo 8P and Apollo 8 feature high Z inputs. We've also added unison capabilities to these high Z inputs. And unison allows us to go in and change the impedance on the inputs. So as we're doing stomp boxes or other guitar amplifiers, we're able to load the pickups of the guitar or the bass or the instrument that's plugged in the same way that the preamp or the stomp box would change. So that has a dramatic effect on the frequency response and the loading of the pickups. It's a terrific way to modify the input of the high Z. We do the same thing on the Apollo. The preamps, the mic preamps themselves are unison enabled. Unison lets us offer preamps, classic preamps from API, Neve, Universal Audio. So you have a number of flavors that you can choose from on your recording chain on the front end. So that's a really wonderful part of the Apollo platform. The other piece that's important about Apollos is real-time UAD plugins. So real-time means this: you hear the processing in real time with no delay, no latency. We have DSPs in the interfaces themselves, so the audio doesn't make the round trip from the interface to the computer and back again. So we are able to deliver latency-free performance in the headphones or the speakers. So when your performer or your artist is playing, they can hear themselves with all of the processing that makes them enhance their performance. On the new Apollos, we have a number of enhancements as well. You can see we have lit switches now for the 48 volts, for the pad, and for the link and high-pass filter. We also have changed the metering so that you can see input and output metering. So if I go over on this side, I can see input and output meters. Switch here. We've added a front panel switch for alt speakers, so you go in and this can switch your speakers. There's also a programmable function switch, and this lets you go in and assign a certain function to that switch. You can assign dim or mono or alt 2 speakers to that, and it's of course a programmable switch. So as we develop more features for that, we'll be able to assign more features to it. We've added some new functionality to the headphones. Those are now digitally controlled headphone amps, and so they're much quieter. They have better performance and can be used much more freely. Some of the unique features that are going to be interesting to a lot of users, we've added a mic bypass. So if I go up here, and when you're in line input, you can go to the hardware. If I look at this Apollo 8P, for example, we have line input gain, and then you have the ability to bypass the input gain on that preamp. So if you're using an external mic preamp, for example, you can bypass the line preamp, so there's no amplifier in front of the line amp. Same thing for the outputs, and in my monitor section here, I can use the monitor output gain bypass. So if I'm using a digital or an analog summing box, and I want to use all the outputs to sum, I can bypass the output gain so that it's simply straight line outputs. So then all the lines are exactly the same. So that gives us a bunch of workflow enhancements for the box. All of the new Apollos are connected via Thunderbolt for Mac-equipped computers, or Thunderbolt Mac-equipped computers. So we're able to send audio, DSP code, and a distributed star clock across a single cable. So you can mix and match Apollos. You can have up to 4 Apollos or 6 UAD2 devices in your system. So you could have some PCIe cards or a satellite Thunderbolt or even a couple of FireWire devices, up to 6 devices in a single system. And these are completely compatible with the existing Apollos, the silver-faced Apollos. So as long as you have Thunderbolt, you can link these all together. And they all come together in Console 2.0, which we introduced at NAMM just 3 months ago. So this is the console. You have all the settings in the hardware here. There's the flex driver, so you can mix and match all of the outputs that you send to Core Audio. So for various systems and tracking setups, you can set up different ways of associating your hardware to Core Audio. So for example, you could put all of your preamps together. You could line up your inputs and outputs for hardware inserts if you're doing that. Or you can set up your outputs asymmetrically if you're doing summing. So a flex driver lets you do that. We automatically recognize devices simply by plugging in the Thunderbolt. So we automatically build the mixer up so that all the devices talk to each other. So it's a very elegant connectivity system. We also have a FireWire Apollo that's coming. It's a silver-faced FireWire or silver-faced Apollo that's FireWire-based for our Mac FireWire customers and PC customers. Apollo, the console application 2.0 is coming for the FireWire in later this fall. So we're really building this platform up to satisfy all of our customers' needs. Shipping date-wise, the Apollo 8 ships beginning 4/15, so first day of Messe, this will be in the stores and available. 8P and Apollo 16 Mark II and the Apollo FireWire will be available shortly after in Q2. And for more information, go to www.uaudio.com. Thanks for watching.